Greetings to you all. Dr. Towns here. Also, Coach Ed is here. And guess what, guys? It's almost game time. It is almost game time. Time to finish the final preparations. Time to, have discussions, prepping for that day, that time, that moment when um, the car is packed, the van is packed, you're on your way. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a moment. It's going to be a moment where it kind of gives you time, and a lot of times the car is quiet. You're trying to make light of what's happening, but it's huge, y'all. It's huge. It's a huge moment. It's a huge moment for the student and a huge moment for the parent too, as well. So, what I want to do, and I'm kind of winding up what I wanted to say for the graduates who are going to the tech school, the community college, the university, the college that they've been accepted into, and they've made a decision they're going to go forth. I'm winding that up. I'm going to. The closer we get to August, I'm going to turn my attention back to that 12th grader, that incoming 12th grader who's going to do the same thing you're doing. So I think the last thing I want to talk about is the social and emotional readiness. You guys have purchased all the things you think you need. You guys have, done all the financial aid work. You guys have already spoken, well, hopefully, spoken to someone on campus in regards to maybe a schedule, or you've gotten emails that has enlightened you as to what to do in that regard. Um, but the one thing that is not, I don't even know where you get it other than maybe through me or some other professional. How do you deal with the social and emotional readiness? Um, and it varies. Um, and I think it's more about knowing your child, but also preparing your child perhaps for this moment. It's not all about the college piece. It's about the you've done all for the past 12 years. You have done all you can to prepare them for this moment. Academic piece, you have put them in social situations where you know how they'll respond by now. You have a 17, 18-year old. You pretty much know your child. You know how they respond in certain situations. But I guarantee you, when faced with the independence, when faced with people you don't know, been faced with so many influences, the possibility of things changing is great. Is great. As I was speaking those words, I was thinking about my moment when my parents, you know, they at that time my dad had a custom van, and we drove that van through the mountains, and everybody was in there. All six of us, four kids and two parents. It was a good moment, big moment. Um, got all the stuff in there. And when I got into the room I was assigned to, someone was already in there, and it was a young man from Tennessee. Uh, he ran cross country, so he was already there. He got a couple of days ahead of me, and so I didn't get a choice of a space. So, but right now, that young man that I met from Tennessee is now one of my closest friends. We talk regularly. We're fraternity brothers, um, and that's what's going to happen to your child too. But anyway, um, and after we got all my stuff in my room and went downstairs, hugged everybody, and I just watched that van just drive away slowly, Mom waving, dad waving, blowing the horn, all that. I'm waving. And I just stood there. I'm like, you know what? I can do whatever I want to do right now. But you know what I did? I went to my room, took a nap. Why? I do not know. But I guess it was that fear of that moment, not knowing what to do at that particular moment. When my roommate came in, we went down to the strip. We went to McDonald's. We did something. But from that moment, it was on. For the next 4 years, it was on. So I'm just thinking, just some things that the student. Let's deal with the student first. Um, I can't stress this strongly enough that the student must know what support systems and services are on their campus. For instance, if you need counseling, the advisor is a given. Your advisor is a given. That's the person at A number one. You're going to know who that person is. You're going to know you need to go see them. When they call you, you need to go see them when they don't call you. Uh, get involved. Student life. Student life is that's where you meet a lot of people. You get involved. You get engaged, and I really stress students having a balance that your social life and your academic life are equally important. So make sure you understand what services are involved. And let me just put this on the table. And this is where the parent come back into the scenario. Parents, if you know your child and you know they aren't the most social, they aren't the most they don't just go out and just party and blah blah blah. Um, and if they've had, and this is a given too, if they've had counseling before, then at every university is part of tuition. You just go. I would have that discussion. Do you think it's something they want to continue? If it is, you need to find out where that office is, who those people are. Go introduce yourself. Um, just to have it in your pocket, as opposed to I've seen students who were in that situation and like, I don't need it. I'm fine. Then why were you up all night hollering and screaming in your pajamas around campus? That's not normal. So, not making light of anything, but things happen. So that would be one service I would suggest that your child does know about. In the meantime, make sure if you've already gotten instructions as to how to set up your email, uh, then maybe check it every day. Start when you get there, check it every day. Now you're checking it just to see what's new, just as part of the going process. But check it every day. Check your social media. You may have there may be stuff coming through social media, and normally it's fun stuff. There may be some academic stuff too, but mostly it's fun stuff coming from student activities, coming from residential life. But just check the online groups and just see what's going on. Um, there needs to be a discussion. This is kind of a mix here. Need to be how are we going to, mom, dad, how are we going to do this? You can't be calling me every day. You don't need to call me. Well, I wouldn't say that as a child. You don't need to call me every day. How are we going to do this? And come up, we're going to call you on weekends and whatever. But if you need help, call us anytime. Something like that. But just establish some type of connection because you may not know their schedules, and I suggest and hope that the student will share with you their schedule so every semester, so you'll know when they're in and out of class. But guess what? You may think they're in class and they may not be in class. So just well, my point is just come up with some way where you're going to stay connected with the family. Um, Also, have this discussion. How, or at least think about it. How do you manage stress in new or different environments? When I was looking at my notes, I thought about how do I do it. I'm a wallflower. in my time in college, I probably went to two, three, maybe four parties. And the last two was because the fraternity had the party, so I had to go. But I've never been a partier. Never been a clubber. But just understand, your child's going to be in a new environment, new influences. They may not be a partier now, but hey, here we go. But student, and going back to the student, just understand where you are, understand the environments, and just how do you handle stress. Because it's gonna be a level of stress, not to the point of you just flipping out, but a level of stress because it's new. It's a lot of new people. You guys are the same age, and you're from all over the country, all over the world in some circumstances. So it's a new environment. So it's going to be a level of stress that you'll know how to deal. You will know how to deal with it, and if not, you can discuss it with if a friend went with you to that college, your roommate, advisor, and then it may go over to some counseling sessions. So that would be okay. One big thing, guys, learn. You're going to get in a lot of independence, and you're going to need to learn how to advocate for yourself. I've had students. Well, I'm gonna have my mom call you, and maybe I was too blunt in putting this, but I don't need to talk to your mother. You are here. You are the adult. You are the student. You're the one that you and I are going to talk about this. Well, I want my mother. Well, she can call, but we'll see how that goes. But advocate for yourself. This is a very individual moment in a whole great big sea of others. So you just need to learn how to advocate on the academic and on the personal and social level. All right, let me skip over to the parents now. I would think somewhere either you've already had this discussion or you can have it on the way too. That being that you know your child, you may want to say in some cases you don't say anything because you've seen evidence of them doing this while they were in high school. They they never asked for help. You saw that they were thriving and flourishing. Um, and as kids, as parents, we're always watching our kids. We're looking for that one little something's off, and then that will initiate a discussion. You okay? You all right? But from the parents, just let them know it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. I go back to that one time I just had it. I had an okay freshman year. I'm speaking more of track than academics, but anyway, and that sophomore year, I was going home. I was going to quit the team. I was going to just leave a full scholarship on the table. And I dreaded calling my dad to tell him. But when I did call him, he was cool. He's like, okay, so what you going to do? And I had no answer. I think I've told you this story before. I had no answer for that. So I came to my wits and I decided that I'm going to stick it out. And I continued to have a horrible year, my sophomore year. But my junior year, I really found myself. In my senior year, I had this motto: "Go out with a blast, go out with a bang," and I did. On the track, I was fairly successful. I achieved my goals in the classroom. I graduated, so that was a goal. Not pleased with my GPA, but I finished. Um, but anyway, just help your child understand they're going to be nervous. They're going to be nervous about the environment they're going into. They're going to be nervous about going into a situation where this is a good one. Uh, um, Students who've never had to live with a sibling make interesting roommates. Uh, me and my brother shared a room since I was a baby. So for 18 years, I had, I had no problem sharing a room. I wish it was the opposite. I wanted my own room. But if you've never shared and you always had your own bed, your own bedroom, your own bathroom, going into an environment like that, I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but it's going to be interesting that you now have to share your portion, the room with another person. You don't really know that person. Uh, I've heard some horror stories, uh, some pretty interesting ones, but you, you're gonna find it's a very nervous situation. Parents, you didn't make them understand it's part of growth. It's part of their personal growth, and they'll be okay. But always understand, you want to talk about it, we're here. This is a time for, and coming from the parent, that shows you're kind of passing the baton where you have carried them for a period of time. Now you're going to kind of pass this baton to your child and say, okay, I'm going to let you run with it for a little while because you'll be in a position to make some decisions for yourself. You'll be in this decision to solve some of the things that, as parents, we will step in and resolve and solve. Now that's up to the student, but you need to let them know it'll be okay. That you are prepared for that moment. You know, you together, you guys have worked for that moment because you knew it was coming, and now they're gonna take the lead, in a lot of the challenges they're facing, or with the help of the academic advisor. In some cases, with the help of uh, some counseling services, and that may be for a number of reasons. There may be a history of some therapy sessions prior to, and they may need to be continued. One that is not funny, but one that just always happens somewhere along the way. Falling in love. Oh my gosh, falling in love and falling in love. Dot dot dot. Okay, um, and then just celebrate the moment, guys. As a family, we're going to have a party, a going away party, or cookout, or dinner, or whatever we're going to do, so that the extended family can celebrate. Because everybody can't go to university now. Don't get me wrong. I've seen Carlo show up, Grandma, Uncle Pookie, everybody showed up for that. But it's a very important moment because guess what? Out of maybe 2 or 3 generations, this is the first person in their family to go to college. They are proud. They are on top of the world, and they want to see their grandbaby. They want to see their baby on a college campus. It's a good feeling as a family. It's a good feeling. So celebrate it. Understand, hey, it's a major milestone. A major milestone. So celebrate it. Give them a big hug. Send them off. Wish them well. Pray for them every single day. I know you will, and they'll be okay. All right, guys. I just want to let you know this kind of finalizes what I may have to say because the way I described all this, you're either on the way to the college, you're there, or you're preparing to go there, and it's a moment. It's a moment, but it's a very gratifying moment that especially if you're a first generation. If you're a first generation, first in your family to go to college with the aspirations of graduating in 4 years. That's big. That's big. Uh, so I just want to bring this all together, aside from the academic piece, but on a personal level, and just say, here's some things that you need to talk about. Here's some things you need to consider because more more than likely, your child will encounter all of these, or they will have a friend that will encounter all of these, and they are friends, and they trying to help them through. But just make sure as far as the student is concerned, please stress the importance of knowing where the academic services are, and that could be the academic advisor, that could be the counseling center, um, so that they can feel that there is support available if they choose to use it. Then, as a parent, you're always going to be there. You're always going to be there. You're always going to be. You look forward to that time when you talk, find out what's going on. Um, But I guess what a clue. They call me in the middle of the week, something's up. Either they need money or there's something going on. But it's a good time to celebrate, good time to really show just how much you love and how much you have sacrificed and to make this moment possible. And I'm sure the student realizes it, but as a team, it was a team effort for sure. All right, guys, I'll be back with you on my next. I have some scholarships. I think I saw one way in October. So scholarships are still available, and I can't stress this more, guys. I hope you saw my alert. I hope you saw my alert that there's some things going on in the government that are really making what we are trying to promote very, very difficult. So that if financial aid is being lessened, reduced, or taken away, or whatever's happening, there are still scholarships. And I encourage you to stay tuned with Dr. T and Coach Ed. I'm looking for these things each and every day, and I need to find them. I want to challenge you. If you have submitted a scholarship from any of the scholarships I've given you, put it in my Gmail account. Just say at coachedsolutions.com, I submitted an application. Now, understand there's no guarantee, but more than likely, you put out enough of these, it'll happen. I say all this to say this. I think scholarships are going to become more and more important part of the financial plan for college students going forward. As long as we are in where we are now with the Department of Education, U.S. Department of Education, um, going through whatever they're going through. I don't know if it's something they want to be handed down to the states, and depending on what state, it could be interesting. But I think scholarships are going to be more important as a financial plan or as part of your financial plan. So stay tuned. When I find them, I'll send them to you. All right, guys. I wish you the best. I'm going to do all I can for as many people as I can for as long as I can, and I'm serious about that. I mean that. All right, guys. You have a good day. I will be back with you soon.